Awesome. Diana, you are muted for some reason. Let's go ahead and bring your audio back online.
You can't log on to Zoom and not have somebody on the call be muted. So I'm just keeping that tradition alive. Hello, everybody. I'm Diana Brown. With me, as always, the amazing
Dan Wilson, and together we are Binge
Binge Watch.
Watch.
Yeah.
Yay! And we have a special treat tonight.
Yes, we do. We have a very special treat tonight. This is a special night for us for a multitude of reasons. This is a first for us. This is the first time that we have had the same troupe back on the show for a second episode.
We have the amazing, the astonishing, the fantabulous Odell and DeJong. And before we go any further, we have a request from them for their suggestion for their set, which is as we are approaching St. Patrick's Day, what's at the end of your personal rainbow?
So go ahead and put that in the chat. And we have been given the honor of selecting this for them. So I am looking in the chat now. Dan, why don't you go ahead and share some information with these good people about, share the good news about our YouTube channel.
Oh, well, we have now reached over 100 subscribers. So it's a little personal milestone there for us, which is great. We'll be getting a personalized URL pretty soon. So you'll be able to go to, I'm guessing it's going to be YouTube/C/BingeWatchImprov, but we'll find out for certain later. That being said, if you're here and you haven't done it yet, like, subscribe, contribute to the community in the chat, be a part of the conversation. We are so glad to have you here. And if you love what you see, come to our Patreon link, patreon.com, where we are Binge Watch Improv, and you can put some money in the tip jar for the shows each month, or get extra content, including rehearsal sets, only available to our superfan patrons. Diana, have you perused the options available for Odell and DeJong?
I have, and I'm going to take a suggestion from fellow improv artist and amazing human being extraordinaire. Granted, all of our people watching are extraordinary human beings. We are going to go with, from Aran Lee, piles of corn dogs are at the end of her rainbow. Thank you, Aran. Let's give some love to Aran. Let's give it in the chat. Let's give it in your houses. Let's give some love. The other thing I wanted to say is thank you for being here. Improv is so much more fun for us to have an audience. So thank you to our virtual live studio audience, and thank you for all those that tune in and watch our show asynchronously later. We love all of you.
That said, I think it's now time to get on with the show.
Yeah.
I would like to, if you'd like to, I'd like to bring Odell and DeJong to the stage.
Let's do it. All right. See you soon.
Piles of corn dogs. That's my personal heaven. If I had to choose between a pile of gold and a pile of corn dogs, first I'd say they're visually similar. But then I'd choose piles of corn dogs. This is why I decided to get a job at the carnival. Being a carny has long been a dream of mine. My parents did not approve. But my first day, I felt as though I had found my people. Everybody had sweat stains and shirts open to here to show off the chest springies, and that's just something that I love about the carnival. The stinkier the better. And I was running my booth. My booth was one of them where you can throw a ball into the goldfish bowls, and honestly, it's animal cruelty. But when you're working your dreams, sometimes you just gotta look the other way. And today was a great day at my booth.
I've never been to an American carnival before. I thought it would be charming, perhaps the American version of Morris dancers, all ranged in a circle in fetching costumes, hopping up and down, dancing back and forth, striking each other with a pole with a little flag on it, and wearing knee socks. That's what we do in England. But no, this was very different. I'm in town for business. I'm an international banker. I launder money for drug cartels, and I try to see as much as I can of the local area when I travel. Imagine my surprise when I entered this carnival and decided to try my hand at a game of chance. Randomly, I had purchased a delicacy called a corn dog. It was covered with mustard and appeared to be some sort of oblong object of questionable quality. And I had it in my hand, and I approached this booth where apparently one is supposed to throw objects at fish. And the troll working inside this booth, instead of taking my money, took one look at me right in the eyes, leaned out of the booth, and bit the top of my corn dog right off.
This very well-dressed gentleman did not like that I bit off the tip of his corn doggy. And he started screaming at me, or I guess you could call it screaming, except that he was very soft-spoken. He whipped out his wallet and he showed me his identification, showed me that he was a banker named Oleander. And I said, well, Oleander, sometimes you just gotta lean forward, take a bite out of life. This is something that, honestly, made him think a little. He told me that aligned with his personal philosophy quite well. After all, he was part of a crime syndicate. And I told him, honestly, sharing that with little old Terrence seems a mite risky, Oleander. But he looked deep into my droopy, bloodshot eyes and told me that he felt like he could trust me. And that was the beginning of a long and beautiful partnership.
It turns out that a goldfish game of chance, goldfish-based game of chance, there are other components, such as the small balls and the containers of water, and of course the requisite sort of Carney working behind, is a wonderful cover for laundering drug money. And Terrence and I soon started an enterprise. I had to explain that, of course, I didn't want my food eaten by other people, and this was a bit of a stretch for Terrence. It turns out Terrence likes not only corn dogs, but milk shakes, and was deprived of food as a child, which is why Terrence looks like sort of a hillbilly American leprechaun. But it turns out Terrence has a head for business. And what we did is put small packets of heroin inside of each of these little goldfish. And when the authorities would come around, why, they'd check me, of course. I look out of place at a carnival. Sometimes they would check Terrence, but they never checked the fish. We made millions. And then it all went wrong.
Honestly, the goldfish started getting pretty wise that we were putting heroin up inside their little bellies, and they started trying to nip through the bags. Honestly, their little bellies started to expand, and they seemed like they were having a great time until they floated to the top of the bowl. I did my best to discourage them. I would look down into the little fish bowls and say, hey, work your 12 steps. But it didn't seem to do any good. I tried to appeal to their better nature, and I said, hey there, little goldfish, I'm not here to get my behind searched by the authorities on a regular basis just so you can get high on our dime. But it didn't seem to make any difference.
Terrence had surprisingly trained as a social worker during a jobs exchange program or something while doing prison time, and really worked very hard to counsel these fish out of their habits. And the problem only got worse. Some of the fish did indeed explode and float to the top. Others grew skinnier and skinnier. And one day we came in and one fish had a tattoo, another had a guitar, and a third one pulled a switchblade on me and tried to stick me in the eye when I was trying to pull the drugs out. The situation deteriorated rapidly, and Terrence and I decided to escape. We hit the road, as it were, and because we were short of funds, we stole $1.5 million of the cartel's drug money, and for good measure, a Oldsmobile Tornado convertible, which was approximately the size of my house in Britain, and hit the road.
Sometimes you go out there to try to make a difference, and you only find out that, why, you're a part of the problem. Edit.
Hey in there, little fish. How are you? Good morning, little fish. I brought you some food. Here, let me pour it in. There you go.
Hey,
There's
please.
your little fish food.
Hey, I have one request. Could you please?
Oh my God, you can talk.
Yes,
Yeah, go
I
on.
can talk. I have to play a smart fish. Otherwise, this scene's gonna go nowhere.
Well, all right, that's fine. Go meta if you want, but let's get back to the narrative eventually. Good move, though. 2 points, 2 improv points for you.
I want to ask you, please stop banging on the glass of my tank. I can't take
What,
it
is this
anymore.
bothering you?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You gotta stop. It's giving me a splitting headache.
I'm sorry. I just, I got a lot of enthusiasm for fish. I hate my job. I mean, I hate my fucking job, but fish make me happy. You want a little more food? Here you go.
I mean, I would tell you to find some other source of fulfillment, but I've seen you through the glass on your dates, and you're just really awful.
What?
Yeah,
these are the ladies I meet online. I don't, I never really understood romance. You seem smart for a fish.
Well, would you like a little advice?
Let's say, considering the oddness of the situation and the need to continue the scene in some useful direction, I'm completely open to advice from a fish on my sorry-ass love life. And did I mention I hate my fucking job?
You did mention. But, you're not your job. A lot of American men have been conditioned to believe that their job is their entire identity, and I just want to help you find fulfillment outside of your job.
That's crazy talk. Look, I clean high school floors. Thousands and thousands of troubled teens come through this high school, and they would be slipping all over the place and catching diseases if I did not keep those floors clean. And every day I come home and I feed you, and at least I know I contributed to the world. And then I have these god-awful dates.
Well, that whole yawn and stretch the arm out to go around the shoulders.
It's a classic, isn't
No,
it?
no.
Yeah, let's watch more Seinfeld. I can't get enough of this show.
No, Seth, it's been done to death.
You know my name?
You know my name is
Seth? You know my name is Seth.
Well, yes, of course. I've been your fish for the last 2 years.
I named you Goldie. I'm not even sure that's your name anymore. We haven't had a conversation. I didn't know you hated me banging on the glass. No. It's like one of my dates, except it's platonic and involves a fish.
Well, I have been doing a little work on myself, so I could speak up for myself.
Like in terms of self-confidence, or maybe more like the English language with a fish mouth there?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, honestly, you've been leaving those self-help books open near my tank, and I've been doing a lot of reading.
Yeah, elocution lessons. Elocution lessons, that's what that is.
Yeah, well,
you're doing a great job. I mean, you sound better than me.
Thank you. And honestly, you could learn a little bit from some of those self-help books if you actually took some time to read them.
I just don't know if I have what it takes to self-actualize. I mean, how the hell did you learn English? I'm sure I could learn from you. What do women want?
I mean, my English came just one step at a time, just one letter at a time and one word at a time. And honestly, I think that you could do the same with your love life. You just got to take it one step at a time and don't push it too hard.
All right. I'll stop with the arm thing. I mean, my dad, he told me the same thing back in high school. He's like, don't do the arm thing. Everybody sees that coming a mile away. I'm like, oh, Dad, it's a classic. But no.
Your father was right. He was trying to put you off on a good foot, and I can't believe you ignored that advice.
He used to beat me with a wrench. Well, no, he didn't actually do that. I just tell people that to get free beers.
Oh, that is really dysfunctional, Seth.
I don't know if I have what it takes to self-actualize. So instead of the arm move, I try to start a conversation. I say, hey, what about this episode of Seinfeld?
Well, you could talk about your values, your hopes and dreams.
I don't know. It'd be nice to come in and find the floor clean one day.
That's
You
what
know what I did? I did once have a wonderful date. It was with a lovely woman named Jill. Long blonde hair, real big, showy, friendly personality. It didn't last, but that first date was great. And you know what I did? I
Wow.
finally found something to talk about that really filled me with joy. And this is the God's honest truth. We came over here and we had some takeout Thai. We had those fresh rolls with a shrimp, and a beer. And then I told her I had made up my mind to get a goldfish, and that goldfish was you. And that's the only good date I ever had.
Oh, well, if you could talk about me more on your dates, I guess.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll say you're a goldfish. Your name is Goldie. You give good relationship advice, and you've taught yourself English. I feel like our life might change if I just reveal all this to the public. We're going to end up. You're going to be on TV under those hot lights. Probably not good for a fish, and they might take you away from me.
Well, and, on second thought, if you try to tell all that to a date, I doubt she's going to believe you.
But the right person, I did read in those books, if you keep revealing your true self to people, the only people that are going to stick around are the ones that fit.
The more I'm actually having a real conversation with you, Seth, the more I'm thinking you should probably start to hide more of your true self from people.
Edit. Well, thank you for meeting with me.
Yes, of course.
I wanted to share a concern.
Yes.
Well, I'll get right to it. The Leprechaun Council hired me to come over here
This again.
and serve you this subpoena. So thank you for answering the door, serving you this subpoena for having lost your pot of gold. I checked. I went to the end of that rainbow, and there was I was very surprised. There was a box of frozen corn dogs and no gold. And you have been served.
I refuse this subpoena because I don't understand how it's my fault that the humans keep stealing the gold. Can't we put up some more security measures or something?
I'm sorry, there's a formal thing I have to do. I'm going to hand you this, and I'm going to say, Johnny Sparkletoes, you have been served.
And I'm going to go like this and say, Terry Glitterface, I refuse to be served.
Look, Johnny, it's my job. I am chief counsel for the Leprechaun Council, different use of the word council, and I'm serving you a subpoena. You don't have an option here. This is fairyland law. Terry. And you're going to have to come and answer for the gold. I'm sorry it was stolen, but I think if you read your contract, you are responsible for security. And I don't want to have a big argument scene.
No one told me.
That's not interesting.
In classic Irish fashion, no one was forthcoming with any of the actual difficulties of this job. Honestly, I should have become an Easter bunny because this is ridiculous.
All right, you have been doing this for 1,000 years. We had a certain level of confidence in your ability to guard a pot of gold. You have magical powers. You can disappear like Harry Potter. You can drink humans under the table and beat them up even though you're only 4 inches tall. You have an entirely optional Irish accent, which you don't necessarily need to use. Case in point, this conversation. We thought it would work out well. This is the council talking. This is not me. I, Terrence, am your friend, right? But Johnny Sparkletoes, you have been served.
Come on, as a fellow magical being, aren't you sick of the red tape? I just feel like we're jumping through hoops for what? We don't even get to use the gold.
I never understood that. I never understood that. We just hoard it. Exactly. We just hoard it. I mean, it does seem.
And we sometimes lure humans into our, and then they come back out 200 years later and all of their friends are dead. And that's all well and good. I mean, it's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But I just kind of feel like
we're wasting our time.
Yeah, I've always seen the Rip Van Winkle thing as kind of a perk. You get to have a huge party, get drunk off your ass,
Yeah.
and then there's this great prank where the human falls asleep and everyone they love is gone when they wake up.
Everyone they love is dead, and
Like that's pretty hilarious, actually. You know, from the perspective of being 1,000 years old.
Yeah, but like, I guess no other sort of magical, like the tooth fairy doesn't get drunk on the job, so I guess that's a perk. But I just
There's a secret. There's actually a secret.
really.
Yeah, nobody's supposed to
mouthwash?
know this. Pardon?
Is it the mouthwash? Do they get to drink the mouthwash?
Yeah, and most of them actually have a terrible issue, a terrible problem there. And actually, they did a study on this. I know there's a council of councils, and I know the Tooth Fairy Council, and about 18% last year, they actually took the wrong tooth, like right out of the kid's mouth, and it was the mouthwash.
That's funny too.
It kind of is, isn't it?
It's just,
But I mean, it's a liability issue, right?
oh
Right.
yeah, I guess.
The city of Oakland is suing Fairyland, and the city of San Francisco actually turned off their internet. So
So politically correct.
well, I had to come over here and serve you the subpoena in person. Actually, we have no internet because we pissed off the city of San Francisco.
Well, all right, just
It's good to see you, Johnny. It's
give me
good to
the
see you.
papers.
You don't come to the club anymore, Johnny. And you were always good for a twosome golfing. You know,
Yeah. Well, I miss
it's
you
not the
too.
same without you.
But I feel like I can't, ever since you took this job as the lead counsel for the councils, I just feel like I can't relax around you anymore. And like, I'm not trying to make your job harder. I feel like we used to hang out and
You know, you never think you'll change. You take a job and you never think you'll change. And then one day you wake up and you've become the thing you hate.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
You know, my dad was a lawyer and I just hated him.
Yeah.
I hated him. He was in charge of magical protection back in the day for all those tombs that they buried all those British kings under, the Celtic ones, right under the mounds, the ones
Oh,
Tolkien
yeah,
based that
uh-huh.
first part of Lord of the Rings on. And he was a jerk. He was a jerk, you know, and I swore up and down I'd never become a lawyer. But it turns out I got the right kind of brain and they offered me the job. And now here I am serving a subpoena to my friend. I mean, what the hell happened to me?
I know. I feel the same way, you know? Like my mom was a banshee and
Seriously?
yeah, and they were like just very into the whole stick with the Irish heritage thing. And I wanted to go off and, you know, I don't know, maybe be like a ghoul or like like one of those like a clay soldier or like a nightmare. Like I would have loved to be a nightmare, but my
Johnny
parents,
Sparkletoes, you're such a goth. I had no idea.
yeah. I mean, my whole thing is causing humans misery, and I feel like leprechauns inhabit this space that is not quite one and not quite. Is it joy? Is it pain? What are we doing here? Like I feel like I don't even know who I am in this job.
I hear you. I feel like if your species does a cameo on The Simpsons in a cartoon accent, you are not being taken seriously by the culture at large.
Thank you. This is what I was trying to say to Sally Diamondbutt, and she was not having it.
You know, Sally's got issues. I mean, don't take that personally. That's not about you. You know, Sally has a crush on you is what it is, Johnny. You know I'm telling the truth.
I mean, she does have a diamond butt, so.
I know. It is like the hardest butt. Like it's not just the aerobics, it's also the diamonds.
Like you could literally cut glass with that butt.
I've actually seen her do that at New Year's Eve parties, and it is just even more impressive than you'd think. You know,
awesome.
I would honestly, between you and me, you know, two men here, I would worry about hitting that a little bit though. I mean, even with magical powers, that could lead to trouble.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's the hardest substance known. Even harder than, you know.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't really know how it works. I've never dated anyone with a diamond butt. My thing is more, you know, honestly, more internet dating now. It's gone really well for me. The San Francisco thing's kind of screwed me that way. But the diamond butt, I don't know, you know, I'll buy you beer if you let me know how that is, if it works out.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of owe me a beer. You are serving me papers.
Just give me that thing back. I'll drop it in the bay. I feel bad about this. I feel like I've lost my way, honestly. It's really good we're talking.
Well, you're a true friend. Edit.
The cartel started getting pretty mad. They caught us with a bunch of their money, and pretty soon, me and Oleander were found ourselves in a crazy cartel dungeon. I mean, I had a feeling that I'd be able to put up with physical pain a little bit better than Oleander. I have had 3 fingers chopped off in carnival rides, but Oleander held his own. They stuck some knives up all under those fingernails, and he cut off an ear while a song played, and then there was the corn dogs. Honestly, I didn't think he could handle another corn dog, but he stuck it out.
The corn dogs just kept coming and coming. They kept feeding them to Terrence and myself. And I thought, the only way to get out of this situation in a dungeon under an abandoned home, being tortured by a cartel, is to show strength. And thinking quickly of my love of American cinema, I thought of the film Cool Hand Luke. And I said, I will give you back every dime of your money with interest through bank fraud, or you will let us go if I can eat 50 corn dogs. And the large, florid man in charge of the cartel's torture operation said, "That's crazy. Nobody can eat 50 corn dogs." Just like that guy in the movie. It was amazing. Terrence grabbed my arm and said, you're mad, or whatever Terrence's
I said,
equivalent
you're
of that
fucking
is.
crazy.
Yes, that was it. Thank you. And I started. And I got to 17. And things started looking bad.
Honestly, I couldn't. I was very impressed that he got up to that number. If I think about it, the English do eat a lot of fried food, but there was still an impressive number of corn dogs just going down his gullet, one right after the other. Then right about 17, he started to slow down, started to hold his sides, started to moan and groan and rub his distended belly like something about to pop. And he yelled for a doctor. The other cartel members left, and Oleander turned to me and said, "Terrence, now's your chance." But I couldn't leave him behind. There was no way he was going to run after that many corn dogs, but he had given me some kind of opening, so I knew what I had to do. I waited for the cartel members to come back, and as soon as they walked through the door, I pivoted Oleander's body so his mouth was facing the entryway, turned him over onto his back, and I pressed down hard on his belly.
It was unbelievable. It was like one of those old World War II films of a machine gun shot with, an actual World War II machine gun. Except the bullets were 10-inch corn dogs. And my digestive juices had sloughed off the cornmeal, but there were so many in there that they were still intact. And the cartel had prepared them in haste. Some of them were still actually frozen. And they just sprayed out in an arc of death, perforating all the cartel members. And we were free to go.
And honestly, when we got back home, I knew right then and there that this was the man I wanted to have children with. Edit.
So, I'm just so excited for your baby shower.
Oh my God, so am I. Oh, wow.
So I hope you like the theme I chose.
Is this the, sorry, I thought there had been a fire in here or something.
Oh, no. Your theme is disaster because you having a kid is going to be a disaster.
My theme can't be, what kind of sister are you?
Well, I mean, come
That's
on.
horrible.
It's just, it's a fact. So if you look over here.
Wait, Nicole, back up.
What?
Your sister Diana invited you, Nicole, to throw me a baby shower.
Uh-huh.
Because I love you and you're my sister and you're telling me that I'm going to be a disaster. This is horrible.
I just thought I was being thoughtful. I mean, just
how is that thought? That's not thoughtful. That's cruel.
Just let me show you the details. So, like over here.
No. I am not a disaster. I am having this baby.
Will you at least let me show you the theme?
Sure.
Okay, over here we have our volcano drinks, right? Lava swirl, right? Because you giving birth is going to be like a volcano exploding. And then over here, we have a tsunami-shaped cake because the responsibilities are going to be overwhelming, just like a tsunami. Yeah. And then over here, we have the earthquake dance floor. It's just a platform and I just put it on wheels, but it's because you don't have a stable ground to stand on. So why are you having a baby?
I don't know if I'm touched because you know me so well or horrified at your complete lack of perspective and compassion. I feel so torn. I feel like I'm having a conversation with Mom. You're just like Mom.
That might be.
I'm sorry, that was mean. That was out of line.
Just wow. I'm sorry. Susan, this might be like the most dysfunctional moment you've ever had.
I'm sorry. I take it back. You know what? I'm going to get on this earthquake dance floor. Yeah, this is great.
No,
this
Susan,
is going to be a huge success.
You don't understand.
I'm earthquaking.
Because it's perfect for this party. The more dysfunction you can bring to this party, the more it's going to fit in. Honestly. Can you say more mean things?
You didn't even get my name right. I'm not Susan. I'm Diana. I'm your other sister. I'm the pregnant sister, Diana.
Wow.
The little blonde one, the little 5'1" blonde one, Diana. That's me.
Our family is fucked up.
You know what? You can stay. You can stay because of the earthquake dance floor. In fact, I think you should join me now. And thank you. We are Odell and DeJong. Thank you so much. And thank you to Bingewatch for having us.
And next up to our stage is our fabulous hosts featuring Dan Wilson and Diana Brown. Please welcome to the stage, Bingewatch.
Oh, 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 oh.
Yes! Let's hear it once again for the always wonderful Odell and DeJong. I will never think of a corn dog the same way again.
That may be a good thing.
Probably so. That was incredible. It was so amazing to have them back on the show. We love them, and you do too, clearly, from the fabulous comments in the chat. Dan, we now have to pick 2 shows and mash them together to make up a whole new show.
We do, and we have an interesting list here from folks on our YouTube chat here. We've got Steven Universe, The Greatest American Hero, Adventure Time, Twilight Zone, and Twin Peaks, which tells me that folks have reached a certain point of surreality in their existence in the pandemic.
I know, all of these are pretty surreal. All of them. All right. Well, speaking of surreality, I'm going to pick one of my favorite surreal programs ever. I'm going to go with Twilight Zone. And Twilight Zone was given to us tonight by Ray Misra. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. If not, you have my sincere apologies. And Ray put into the chat the reason he loves Twilight Zone is because it's witty, often chilling commentary on the foibles of the 50s and early 60s, and he says it still holds up today.
Oh my, fantastic. So I was looking at these and trying to ponder, and I'm going to come down on Adventure Time, because if you're going to go weird, go all the way.
Okay. All right. So, in case you are unfamiliar with the Twilight Zone, it takes the life of a seemingly ordinary individual and goes somewhere not so ordinary. So we're mashing that together with Adventure Time. So
Which has a boy and his dog living in a post-apocalyptic world in which their best friends are like an ice wizard and a woman princess made out of bubble gum.
Yeah. And a flame princess.
And a flame princess.
And a lumpy princess. There are a lot of princesses in this world.
And, well, royalty.
True. And, there was some inspiration from Dungeons and Dragons.
I love me a good RPG.
Me too. All right. So, welcome to the very first episode of
The Adventure Zone. Picture, if you will, the most common and ordinary of things. A boy and his dog. This boy and dog believe that their world makes sense to them. It's full of perfectly ordinary things, such as magic and wizards and 1,000 princesses made of various household objects. But they may find that their ordinary, everyday world is a little less ordinary than they thought when they enter the Adventure Zone.
All is as it should be.
I'm glad you think so. I just worry sometimes that we're packing in too much life into too small a package, That maybe we should go on, I don't know, like a vacation or something.
Say more.
Just you and me, I mean, I'm feeling a little tired and you look a little tired and, well, we could go someplace and be tired together. Away from all the excitement of our everyday lives.
Away from
Well, I mean, we spend all our time here, and while I love all of our friends and we have great adventures, I just feel like it'd be nice for a break.
Yeah, 'cause we're getting in a rut.
I think so. I mean, I could shrink down into your pocket and you could take me someplace and, I don't know, maybe try a new identity or explore a new space.
Well, I will miss the bubblegum princess an awful lot, but I'm willing to try. Where should we go?
I think that if we just put on our shoes, or you can put on shoes and I'll get in your pocket, and we just pick a direction and start walking, anything could happen.
Well, okay. Let me open my pocket.
Okay, great. Let me go ahead and shrink down and fit right in there.
Aw, Jake. Are you cozy?
As cozy as I could possibly be, buddy.
All right. Let's start walking. Wow.
Hello there. Welcome to our little neck of the woods, as it were.
Are you using neck euphemistically? Because frankly, I'm not quite sure I get the reference.
Well, I just mean that this part of the woods is, well, it's attached from one part of the woods to another part of the woods, kind of like a neck attaches the head to the body.
You know what's weird? There's something about you that feels calming and reassuring and yet terrifying.
Well, what can I say? I've been reading lots of self-help books, really getting in touch with my inner self and understanding the person inside me, not just the hunchbacked, snaggletooth, one-eyed, never-blinking kind of person that I am.
You remind me of the Lumpy Princess. You got all the right things. They're just in a weird order.
Yes, the lumpy princess. I've heard legends of such a creature, although I've never seen her myself.
Well, it's okay. But honestly, I've read some self-help books, and there's something called an aha moment.
Ah,
Yes. And usually they're heralded by some sort of messenger. Now, it could be in the form of a person, place, or thing, but something that, wow, when you do that, it changes the molecules.
ha!
Are you the harbinger of good tidings or doom?
Ah,
Oh,
I am what I am. You are who you are. And who we are in this moment together is a special combination of personality alchemy. You, by yourself, could never be who you need to be without encountering me, and I could never fulfill my destiny as I can by encountering you.
and I'm not by myself because you're here and my dog is in my pocket.
Oh, you've got an incredible growing, shrinking, form-changing dog, have you?
Yeah, doesn't everybody?
No. Only special little boys get to have their dogs go with them everywhere they go.
Well, Jake's not just a dog, he's my best friend.
Well, sometimes, to become a man, we need to leave certain things behind.
Jake? Jake! Jake!
Don't worry.
You with my dog.
He's perfectly safe. He's perfectly fine. All you need to do is continue to walk along the path and see where it takes you, under your own guidance.
But Jake and I do everything together.
Not this time.
Fine. I'll walk. Do I walk alone or are you coming with me?
Well, I do believe the entire point of this exercise is for you to discover your own voice. I will stay here. If I was ever here in the first place.
I'm not sure this adventure was such a good idea. And it was Jake's idea. Did he know? Hey, weird guy! You know, necks tend to get cut off at the head. Or is it the shoulders? I don't really have much choice, do I? I guess I'll just keep walking. And walking. And walking. And walking.
Hello, little boy. Little boy, please, don't mind me. I just want to talk to you for a moment there.
Hi! Oh, you're not the weird guy with the one eye that kept coming in and out. No offense, I didn't mean that to be cruel. It's just he kept squinting and yet both eyes were there. I'm not making a lot of sense, am I?
Well, no, that's all right. You're a young child, and I don't, in my experience, find young children to make much sense at all. So you're completely conforming to my expectations.
It's nice when that happens. Tell me, you're not reading self-help books, are you?
Self-help books? Reading? No. As a matter of fact, I'm selling. As you can see here in this lovely briefcase that I've got, I have a whole collection of self-help books to help you get a firm grasp on your reality.
Wait, those titles. I can't read them.
Well, what
language is that?
Why, this is the language of the land. This is pure spoken American English.
Oh, okay.
Are you not from these parts?
I'm not sure what to say, but the truth is no. I'm
Well,
from the land of Ooh.
you're from the land of ooh. Well, I guess I'm from the land of ah, and together we can ooh-ah our way across self-knowledge.
Wait a minute, that's another one of those aha moment kind of things, except it's ooh-ah instead of aha. Are there other types of moments?
Oh, there's all kinds of moments. There's the oh my moment, and there's the good golly moment. And above all, there's the you mean what moment, but we don't talk about those too much if we can
There's
help.
also the how dare you moment, but let's not go there.
No, I'm not really sure where you're from, but you seem to be on a journey of some kind. I don't have any maps except for these maps to the soul. But if you can't read English, I'm not sure how much good they'll do you.
You know, let me see those maps.
Well, I'm speaking metaphorically, of course. They're actually just books.
Oh, okay.
But books are maps to the very soul, especially if you read them with an open heart. That'll be $5, by the way.
Oh, I don't know that I have currency in this world, but this is a very thick book.
What can I say? The road to self-understanding is not an easy one.
The first two words I read when I looked down are, what if?
Well, for someone who doesn't know any English, you speak it quite well and you're beginning to read quickly. It's almost as if you were destined for this book. Tell you what, kid. I'll let you keep this book if you get something for me from that village at the end of the road.
Oh, well, how hard could that be? What do you need me to get?
I need you to get me a cow.
Any particular color?
A brown cow.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty common. Well, for here, I guess. Most of the animals in the world I come from tend to be very brightly colored.
Ah. Well, this cow has a name.
Oh,
So when you go to the town, make sure you ask for the name How Now.
okay. I like that it rhymes.
Great. Once you've gotten me How Now the brown cow, bring him on back here and I'll make sure that you can keep that book that you borrowed from me for a moment.
But I really liked it. It gave me a sense of focus.
Tell you what, bring me How Now the brown cow, and you can have self-discovery to take with you on your journey.
I'd like that. I'd also like to find my dog. He's really my best friend.
Well, you know, dogs are a boy's best friend, so that makes sense.
You're nice. And not nearly as scary as the semi-one-eyed gentleman I encountered earlier, who, although, brought me to you, so I guess he was doing his job.
You know, the important thing is to not judge a book by its cover, unless it's one of my books, because those covers are awesome.
Did you write these books, or... Well, I asked because you seem really smart and capable of writing a book.
Well, thank you. As to whether or not I wrote these books, well, that's a mystery for another day, and a horse of a different color. But we're after cows, not horses, so I think we'll just leave that bare where it lies.
I love how you mix your animal metaphors, and yet it all makes sense. I'm off now to find How Now, the brown cow. I'll be back.
I'll be waiting for you here.
And if you see an incredibly growing and shrinking dog named Jake, tell him to wait for me. He's my friend.
You kids and your wacky drugs.
Huh.
Here we go. It's just gonna go right along. It's got to get to market. It's got to get to the market one of these days. Would be a nice place.
Pardon me, good sir.
Hello.
I see you're leading a cow.
That's true. That's true. And though I am a withered old being and I have lost most of my secondary sex characteristics, I think you should know that I have a woman's name. My name is Leslie. I am actually a man, but just know that I have a woman's name.
Oh, well, it's like the name Pat or Chris or Stacy. They're all names that can be for, well, anybody.
Well, I suppose so, but here in America we believe in convention. And when people defy convention with their very identity the way that I do, things can get a little bit difficult.
I think that's unfair. I mean, who says there's only like one or two sexes in the world? There could be a million for all we know.
Well, you speak like that in the town, and you might run into some trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Oh, all sorts of trouble. I'm talking pitchforks and torches kind of trouble, though.
Oh.
But the most important thing is to make sure that you acknowledge the primacy of American currency. If you believe in the dollar, then, well, many other things they'll turn a blind eye to, if you know what I'm talking about.
You're saying I can buy my way to happiness and acceptance in your world?
Well, of course. How else would you do it?
Well, that makes some sense. But I don't have any money. I mean, in my pocket, all I had was a dog and this roll of $100 bills?
Well, looks like you're going to do just fine here in America.
But before you go, I'd really like to buy your cow for a $100 bill.
Oh, but my cow is so precious to me. My cow provides milk and she makes babies that I eat. Not immediately, mind you. I give them a few months first.
How much did you pay for How Now the Brown Cow?
How did you know my cow's name was How Now?
Well, what else could such a beautiful cow, brown in color, what else could the name be but How Now?
Well, I suppose that makes a certain degree of sense, and I am old and slightly feeble in the mind, so I'm willing to take you at your face value. Tell you what.
Yes.
I am old, and not long for this world. I suppose I could just sell you the cow, but I'm not sure $100 is enough.
Well, I've got several. How about I give you 3 of them?
Why don't you give me 3 and your name?
I have a feeling giving you my name is a terrible idea.
Nonsense. What are you doing with it anyways? What's your name worth?
Well, it's my identity. It's how my best friend knows it's me.
Well,
When he calls me by my name and I call him by his name, then we know who we're supposed to be and where we are.
and if you didn't have that name, your best friend wouldn't know who you were anymore.
Oh my
Is that what you're saying?
I guess that is what I'm saying. And I wouldn't want that to happen. I mean, frankly, he was with me in my pocket.
Strange place to keep your friend in your pocket.
Well, you're not going to believe this, having such a normal creature as a brown cow named How. But my dog, Jake, he's my best friend. And he can grow or shrink. And so he shrank himself down to get in my pocket so we could go on an adventure together.
Are you all right in the head, boy? Animals don't shrink and grow and change shape, not here in America.
I don't think I like this money anymore.
Why do you want my cow anyway? What are you after, little boy?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. What kind of...
Self-understanding. And to find my dog.
Self-understanding. Well, fine. If you want to understand yourself, all it will cost you is 3 of those bills and your name. Perhaps in losing yourself, you will find yourself.
I mean, after all, what's in a name? It's just a thing people call you. It doesn't change who you are. Why, by calling something something, it doesn't change its molecular structure. It's the same thing, even if it's called something else. Isn't it?
I wouldn't know. I'm a simple woman. Man, woman, woman, man. Man with a woman's name.
Leslie.
Leslie. I get confused quite a bit about who I am and where I am and what the words coming out of my mouth are.
Leslie, I want to buy your cow. Sell your cow to me. Finn.
Write your name on my hand.
Well, that seems excessive. Wait, where did this pen come from? It wasn't in my pocket a minute ago. Okay, hold out your hand.
There
right.
we go. Finn.
Yeah.
And now it's mine. Here you go, little boy. You can take How Now the Brown Cow.
Come on, Hal. Let's go now. I mean, you have my name.
And you are about to find out who you really are.
That sounds ominous.
Enjoy the cow. I don't need to go to market anymore. I'll just head on home.
Come on, Hal. It's okay. Come on.
It's a fine, fine day for a seller of books here on this road.
Hey,
Oh,
come on. He's not very happy.
well, I imagine not, but you brought me How Now the Brown Cow. Good job, little boy.
Thanks.
I forget, what's your name again? Is something wrong?
Don't remember.
Well, you've been
I know who I was since I was old enough to say my name, and now I don't know.
Well, that's okay. You've been out in the sun all day, and that can play funny things on the mind. But you fulfilled your end of the bargain, and you brought me How Now the Brown Cow. So I'll go ahead and take her, and I'll give you this book. And this book will tell you who you are.
All right. Give me the book.
There you go. And you know, and while you're reading that book, I'm going to go ahead and call you Billy. How about that? Does that name sound good to you, Billy? It's a good, strong American name.
It starts with a B. Like,
Yes.
Why is that important? Boo. Buh. Boom. Boom, boom, mountain.
You know what? You're a bright kid. My brother, he runs a school in the town just over that hill. Why don't you come join me and you can study your book and we'll enroll you in that school with all the other American children and we'll learn important life skills like stopping, dropping, and rolling, basic mathematics, American history, and American and British literature. The only things you'll ever need to know about here in America. And in fact, I bet there's even a dog or two in that town that would love a new boy to call a best friend.
I don't want a new best friend. I have to work out this equation. This is mathematical.
Well, the best place to learn mathematicals is in a classroom with a teacher and an approved curriculum.
I don't know. But I don't feel like I have much choice right now.
Come along, Billy. It's a beautiful day for a walk, and maybe we'll find someone else to sell our books to.
Our books?
Well, of course, we're a team, aren't we? You and I.
I was doing something else before, but I can't remember what it was. I just remember being Billy.
Well, Billy's a fine thing to be, if you ask me. Come on, Billy. Let's walk to town and get you enrolled in school.
Okay. Are you my dad?
Let's go with Uncle, I think. It's a little less complicated.
What should you
Go.
write to be private? Huh.
A boy, on a journey with his dog, in a world full of adventure and magic, finds himself on a road to the ordinary, to the mundane, to a world defined by rules, structures, and laws, and a belief that everything can be solved with a handful of dollar bills. Every now and then, you leave the magic of your childhood and enter the Adventure Zone. And that's our show.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the delightful human beings who gave us those suggestions. And thank you to Odell and DeJong. Let's get them back on stage. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you for being with us tonight.
Of course, it is our pleasure.
What an honor.
Always happy to play with you guys, seriously.
Well, we are always happy to have you on the show. Now, folks watching are like, where do we find those amazing magical human beings? Odell and DeJong. So tell us, where can they find you next?
Well, we will be doing our next show on March 20th with Leela SF. That's a Saturday at 8 p.m. So if you want more info on that, you can find it at the Leela Facebook page or leela-sf.com. And
.com, yeah.
yeah. And if you want to follow Odell and DeJong, we do have our own Facebook page. So come follow us, check us out. You will see when our next shows will be, and sometimes nostalgic pictures because we missed the before 4 times.
Don't we all?
So much.
We all so much. Go ahead and do it. Log onto that Facebook and like them. You know you want to. What a privilege. Thank you for being with us. Thanks, as always, to our production manager, Stacy Marshall. Thank you for watching. Dan, is there anything you want to share before we say goodnight?
Have faith, have hope, and believe that we are moving into a better time.
Until next time.
Oh, I almost believed it out of his mouth.
I have a book to sell you.
Good night. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Good night.